Is it playing?
Yeah. Alright. So we'll put the words at the top, right? That's going to be our solution.
It's blinking. It's not recording yet.
It's recording.
Is it recording?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, that's right. I can cut all this crap out. Okay, ready? Gone away is her clean house, sanity, children and spouse. She filled up the place, now it's a disgrace. She's walking on 100 tons of trash. How she loved to go shopping every day, never stopping. From carpets to ceilings, stuff numbs her feelings. She's walking on 100 tons of trash. In the corner there's a pile of plastic snowmen, a dusty forest made of busted Christmas trees. She sleeps on tinsel balls and lights with mice in the shed. Her house infested with roaches, bed bugs, and fleas. Dead animals outside and inside and underneath her diaper landslide. Caves she dives with racoons, cats, and flies until she's walking on 100 tons of trash. The refrigerator overflows with maggots, rotting food with liquid cats in Ziploc bags. That year-old moldy pumpkin seeds are magic, so all my mom's top buys of clothes that still have tags. Just ignore the mountain of poo, 1,000 gallons of P2. It's sick and it smells, but ring those sleigh bells. Hoarders is clearing out my 100 tons of trash. Hoarders is clearing out 100 tons of trash. Hoarders is clearing